My name's, for those of you that don't know, my name is Kelly Harold. I'm the Executive Director of the Buffalo County Historical Society. And today we have ORlin Brommer, who was a rural mail carrier in the Nelson area, right? And for how many years again?
I retired at 25.
So he was 29 when he retired. And he's going to just share kind of some of his memories along the route. And then, so a lot of you have already noticed, he's got photos from the route over here. He's got some more along, just in case you have questions about something. You might find an extra couple of pictures here and there, right?
I can find pictures all day long.
All right, I'll turn it over to ORlin.
I want to thank Kelly and the Historical Society for inviting me. I really don't think I have any ability, but I have persistence. And over 25 years, I kept taking the same pictures over and over. And I'm not too sure. I think I may have 12 or 20. I'm not too sure. Cartons like this full of junk. And to make sure that it was junk one night this week, I went and I double checked. And I didn't find much except deer and turkey. You know, you realize they're the same size, but when you're way too far away from them, they both look that size. Later on, you'll see a fawn. You'll see a fawn later on with spots, and that deer was so close that it was just about on my finger. So my cameras had to be capable of taking a picture without shaking, because I didn't have time to put up a tripod. I reached in my back seat, and I had a lens for speed in case something was happening, and that had very little glass between the film and the deer. And if I had time, then I could put on a stronger lens, and it was my strongest lens was 300 millimeter, and I could move it. I could move it back and forth. And 300 is about as far as you can go without a tripod. And I could lean on my windowsill, and a car is a pretty good blind with wild animals. They are not terribly afraid of a car, and I moved fairly slow inside the car. But boy, if you're acquainted with deer hunting with a bow and arrow, what is that? 25 to 75 yards. That's even with that 300 millimeter lens. That's how far I have to be to get a decent shot. And I've got in this tree for sure. I just kept seeing more and more and more blur, and oh yeah, that's right, that was a turkey, but you can't even tell it was a turkey or a deer. That's all bad. They told me if I got one decent picture in 25 or 36 roll, I was doing good. And I've been wondering if I averaged that or not. And I think the guy who said that was probably selling photo services. Yeah, because I don't have a lot for all the rolls and rolls I took up. I took a photography class when I was in college, and the teacher was probably more conservative than I was, or broke or whatever. And he liked inexpensive Pentax camera, because you could take pictures with a dead battery. It was fairly indestructible, and it was fairly inexpensive. And if there is a universal mount for cameras, it's a Pentax mount. When you take the lens off, put the lens on, other people will even make a mount so they can their lenses can fit onto Pentax cameras. And I've stayed with it. I'm now on my second single lens reflex with that's a digital. And point and shoots are great. The pros tell me, oh, don't even monkey around with this stuff. Just stick with the point and shoot, because you can develop up to 8 by 12, even bigger photographs. So you don't need something big. But no, my last good camera was broken for a few months, and I missed what I could do with it. And take lots and lots of pictures. Now I took a lot of pictures when there was film, but now, man, just keep pulling that trigger. And even on your cell phone cameras, you have a setting, it'll take triplets. And one of the three you hope to turn off. back when we were in college, the guy called them about bracketing. You take one far, one you think is on, and one that's near. Shortly after I started in the mail route, Santa gave my daughter back here a decent Sears camera, and I promptly borrowed it from her. And then I used her camera until Santa gave me a Pentax camera. I forgot to bring it along, but it was pretty beat up. I kept scratching the tops of my glasses, and I thought it was from the camera. So I glued a soft cushion on the back of the camera. Here it was from the telescope. So I go in, and I think one or two pair might have been guaranteed. And they said, how in the world can we scratch the top of your camera? And I think my last pair before these had scratched something, and I forgot what I was looking into. It was a camera lens, or it was a telescope or something. And of course, Santa and I are married 48 years. She was 3 when we got married. And again, you don't need expensive stuff. Pentax, because they are probably in large supply. They are really the inexpensive ones. And all of our old lenses. I got 3 lenses with this camera. I spent $100 for it. It's 6 years old, but it's fancier than anything I'm going to need or ever be able to figure out. And three lenses came with it. The guy gave me 3 lenses from his camera that would fit on, and I had 3 lenses for mine, so I have 9 or 10 lenses. And I'll probably be using one 90% of the time. And people that have fancy cameras either are rich, they want some candy in front of them to show everybody how important they are, or they're professional photographers. Professionals will go into better stuff. And that's fine. There are 10 or 12 tips that you can find on the internet. I think I've hit them on number 3 now, and I'm not going to go into numbering tips. It's important to go online and learn about them. And then one of the third tip is do study a little bit. You don't have to go to the classroom now. Everything's online. And another tip is using a tripod. That's easy said, but by the time you get the tripod set up, you're kind of sick of it. And I have some mini tripods, and I have a sandbag, and I'm not too sure. Just bumping up against something, is really helpful. And in the mail route, the car frame, car windows. And I could roll the window up and down a little bit too, and move my tripod. Today I was playing with my new camera. I was biking down the street, and I kept shooting it as I was biking down the street, and I went home to see what my pictures looked like. It's got anti-shake stuff in here that cost millions during the Vietnam War. Put the guys in the helicopter and get these $1 million anti-shake devices. Now they put them in. I think they put them in point-and-shoot cameras too. I was biking down the street and hitting the trigger. It was giving some pretty decent photographs. And I won't spend too much time with my pet peeve, but I hate power lines. And I think I learned to be a photographer because I hated power lines. I spent so much time getting the junk out of the photo, in particular power lines, that whatever was left was pretty decent because I'd move around and do whatever I could to get the junk out of the photograph. And someplace, I'm not too sure, it's here or on the slideshow, I forgot what it is. So I take a stick with me every so often, a stick with a few branches on it. If something junky was in my way, I just put the stick with a few branches and block it out, power pools. And just the stick would cover up the power pool. And some woman said her husband was in a lot of her photographs because he would take a bush out, and he would put a bush in front of him and the stuff that she didn't want in the photograph. And I've got an umbrella in my bag. It's an old beat up one that's no good, but I always think if I put the umbrella in front of me, I might be able to sneak up on a rock a little bit further with that umbrella in front of me. Breaks up my shape. And I think being a rural mail carrier, we weren't subject to a clock. We got our mail in the morning, we sorted it, we got out, and then we were on our own for the rest of the day. So if it took us an extra hour, or if we got done an hour early, it really didn't make a lot of difference. So I was willing to off and on sneak out and do something. I had 2 20-minute breaks a day, and I never took them, other than when I wanted to fool around. Note cards and art for your wall are expensive, and this is one of my 8 by 12s or 12 by 14s or whatever, and it was mostly black. So I cut off a lot of black and made some wall art. We put my stuff up and down, and like all wall art, you get sick of it after a while. This one stayed probably because the wall isn't ready to accept anything else. And then I buy note cards from artists for $2.50. That's cheaper than buying stuff, in the drugstore. But now we're making our note cards. I don't know, 50 cents for a buck. And that might be the best tip of the day. Make your own note cards from your own photo. Filters are fun. Someplace on here, I've got a brick house with a perfect star shining on the window. Well, it was a filter I put on my camera. I paid somewhere between, $2 and $10 for the filter. And I bought a pack of filters. I think it was 30 filters for $15. And rather than trying to get them to fit on the camera, I just held them in front of the camera. And this morning I decided, no, this filter isn't too bad. And several of my photographs, you can see from this angle, several of my photographs have something dark on them. And I put a pair of sunglasses in front of them. And you'd almost have to have a weak or a non-prescriptive sunglasses. But I wanted to play with this for a filter this morning. You don't have to buy a filter until you really think you like to use filters. All of a sudden you play with it a little bit, and then you go back to the original stuff. Take pictures in winter. The humidity is down in winter. Winter pictures are always very, 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 very clear. A day like today in summer, we think this is a clear day, but it's not. There's a lot of moisture out there. And of course, everybody says take photographs morning and evening. Oh, I was going to say, keep your cell phones on. I would like to have a break. Take pictures morning and evening. The sunlight at morning and evening is really, really something. I'm going to take a quick peek at the tips. Be creative. The better word than being creative is just try it and see what turns out. Now that we don't have to develop stuff, man, you can shoot all day and throw all away. Yeah. And I'm finding it out here. I should have thrown a lot of my stuff away. I drove 100 miles. I made 400 stops. I think I took pictures of lots and lots of barns and lots of log stuff. And as these barns and log things are taken down or fall down, instead of my pictures being worth a nickel, they're now maybe worth a quarter. So instead of being sorry about a barn falling down, I always say, the barn fell down, and that makes my picture worth 20 cents more. Grandpa was a carpenter. Yeah, he was the guy who made the round bars in Buffalo County. In the early area. I think he made 5, 6, or 7. One is round, it's still up. It's down it's near the church in Ernie. And the rest are 6, 8, and 10 sided. I think mostly each side. And then there's another one right at the church in Ernie that band was built. I think I'm done preaching, but I'd love to talk about my photographs all afternoon. So come on up and I cheated. We've got friends from Minnesota, and they may find the Minnesota picture. I've got one here from Minnesota picture. The blimp was taken in Milwaukee. I know one toward the bottom left corner was taken in Buffalo County near Arcadia. One may belong to Kathy. I'm not too sure. I know on the machine I've got some of Kathy's stuff mingling with mine. I started. But, I tried to make sure that I didn't mingle in my own stuff. Our friend who raises buffalo, he's now out near Rushford, and anything that looks like a buffalo is either, if it's a buffalo skull, it's something he borrowed me for a couple of weeks. If the buffalo's alive, it's his half brother who once was near Nelson and now he's Ella. Between a couple of red. I'll take questions while we're monkeying around.
So how many years were you a mail carrier?
I started in the summer of '84, summer of '80, and went full-time in '84. And then I quit 8 years ago, whatever that is. And between a little military time and a little substitute time, and then the full route, I get paid for 25 years.
So you were an actual employee of the government at that point? Because they don't use that anymore, right? They just like...
Rural carriers, if they're in their own vehicle, and some of them have those little Jeep-shaped things too.
Yeah.
If they're in their own vehicle, they are a federal employee, but we are not subject to punching the clock. We sign in, we sign out. We're not subject to punching the clock. So if we get done a little early, we can go home. We shouldn't. Or it's not even frowned upon. Because the next day we might be a snowstorm. We might be 2 hours late.
To make up for the Christmas time.
Yeah, you make up for it.
And our cars were hard on brakes, of course. Hard on transmissions, of course. But my early cars were hard on radiator parts, heater cores and radiators. And all of a sudden, when these Ford-made cars started making General Motors make better cars, all of a sudden things last more. We're hard on belts. Never wrecked an engine in 25 years. Then we got paid a little extra. If you get paid 50 cents now on your income tax, the mailman probably gets 70 or 75. And way back when, my predecessors always had a nice new car. And they went through them so fast. Now you'll see the mailman or female man with an older beat-up car, dents, and the hubcaps falling off, because you can keep a car forever, and then they drive another nice car on Sunday, and they let them drive that beat-up car. The dust, hubcaps, I don't know. The dust is coming in the windows. And I really like GM because they were pretty indestructible and pretty easy to fix. I had a four-wheel drive that was just 2 transmissions. And the steering wheel was over where it was nice.
Do you know Doug Ward?
Doug Ward, I recognize the name, but
Because he's a mail carrier, like a phenomenal historic guy in this town,
no,
on
okay.
your level.
Who's the airplane pilot?
That's him.
the guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the big, aficionado. You two would really get together.
I skied with him for 20
Dad
years.
is one of his best friends.
I've been around a few of his presentations. I've got friends that are flyers, so they tell me stories about this. I forgot he was mailman. Verbal Rachel was not only a supervisor, but when I was in the guard, he was a pretty high ranking
Yeah, in the car.
sergeant.
Nice guy.
So, I'd rather spend time with the pictures than.
Sure. Very good presentation. Thank you very much.